Hey everybody, and welcome to our early comics review video. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that will be for sale this week. They come out on Wednesday, and we're here to tell you a little bit more about them.
Well, not really will be for sale. They're for sale right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up. They're for sale right now, so if you head on over to infinityflux.net, these books are live. You can order them, and you will have them on Wednesday, or if you order them, they'll be on their way to you on Wednesday when these are officially released. So this is a pretty awesome week of books.
Yep.
As you're going to see right here, we've got two big ones to start out with. But like always, if you're not following us, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of these. We are a comic positive, almost said podcast. If you close your eyes, it's kind of like a podcast. But all about how much we love comics and the new comics coming out. So, kick us off.
Yeah, let's start with Skinbreaker #1. This is the first issue of a whole new series from Robert Kirkman and David Finch, a brand new IP from those guys over at Image. This is going to be an 8-issue series, and what's cool about this is that they started working on this back in 2017. Robert Kirkman started writing this story back in 2017. He and David Finch have been working on it. And the whole series, with other than maybe a couple minor alterations, the entire series is done already. All 8 issues are already done, so there shouldn't be any delays. That'll help keep the story moving. This is going to come out like clockwork every month. So, what is this book about? It's a fantasy book that follows a tribe of whatever these guys are. They're not human.
They give a little orc vibes.
Yeah, they remind me of orcs from World of Warcraft, but they're orange instead of green, and they're not like big.
Yeah,
they're not like hulking. They're just more. They're more like that right there. But so they're a tribe that kind of like live in this lush forest, and the overall gist is that the chief of the tribe, which is this guy right here, his name is Enor. He's getting pretty old, and he's getting a little bit too old to fulfill his duties as chief. And what their custom is that in order for somebody to be the chief, they have to challenge the current chief to combat. And if they can kill the current chief, then that person becomes the new chief. So Enor, he's been chief for a long time, and he's getting old. And the main protagonist of this book is this guy. His name is Enoch, and he's very good friends with Enor. They're real close. And Enoch kind of helps hide the fact that Enor is getting older and weaker and can't really do the things that he needs to do anymore. He helps him go out and hunt for food and things like that. But then says, "Look at what our chief brought us. I didn't do it at all." So he's kind of covering up for the chief.
He seems like a pretty sweet guy.
Yeah, he seems very noble. He's like a very good guy. But Enor, he's like, I'm getting older. We can't hide this for too much longer. You need to challenge me in combat so that you can kill me, so that you can become the new chief. That's what really needs to happen. But Enoch thinks, no, I can't do that. You're my friend. I can't kill you. You have a lot more to offer, that kind of thing. So there's another member of this tribe. His name is Thul, 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 and he's this big, brutish guy.
He looks like he would be a bad guy.
Yeah, he's got a scarred face and everything, and he knows that Enor is old and weak, and that Enoch is covering for him. He knows this, and so he's making plans to challenge Enor for chieftain. And Enor knows that that's going to happen, so that's why he's so gung-ho about Enoch, wanting to get Enoch to challenge him first. He's like, Thul, we can't let Thul be the chief. You need to do it instead. So that's kind of like, that's the crux of this first issue anyway. Now, there's also another element to this story, which involves the title of Skinbreaker. So basically, when these beings are born, they are born with like this gray skin that almost looks like it's all scarred up. It almost looks like what like burned skin looks like. But as they grow up, when they're, I guess it's kind of maybe like a rite of adolescence or something like that. When they're strong enough, the chief of the tribe holds up this sword. They go through this, they have like a little ritual. the chief of the tribe holds up this sword. The sun reflects through the sword, and then if the child is strong enough, melts the skin off, and then they get their regular orange skin. And again, that's like a way to to show that this child is now
this child has become a man.
Yeah, something like that. So that's a part of this story too. I'm not going to talk about that too much, but that does figure into Thul's story and him wanting to become chief. There is an element of that, but I'll let you read that part for yourself. But this is a really, really good book. I don't really know where the big story is going because this story just stays with these two characters and Thul. It introduces us to a couple other characters. It introduces us to their ritual of skin breaking, I guess, and that kind of thing. So I don't really know like what the overall thing. I think the overall story is going to be Enoch versus Thul, basically. But this is a really cool fantasy book. I mean, this is straight up fantasy. Like I said, they live in the woods and they're hunting.
There's these big creatures.
There's big creatures.
Fighting.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I don't want to say the biggest, but one of the big selling points about this is a beautiful book. David Finch drew everything twice as big. So a single page he drew as a double page spread. A double page spread, he took 4 11 by 17s to draw. So he drew everything way oversized so that he could get all kinds of detail in it. The colors in this are beautiful. So, and when everything is shrunk down to comic book size, there is just packed with detail and things to look like. You just want to like look at the page and look at the vegetation.
I was about to say the vegetation is the big thing, and just weird plants and cool trees.
Yeah.
And when they do run into a creature, just like its skin texture and all of that, it's just everything is rendered way more than you would if this was done on a traditional size.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one of the big things is like when you open this book, it's like you're like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
I just want to look at this. So and I like the fact that, and I don't know if I did a good job of explaining it, but it's a very simple story.
I was gonna say it feels like it's a thing that Robert Kirkman does great, which is even like what Invincible is and everything, or Walking Dead. You could tell this is a big world with very, like this one. Oh, it's like this is clearly a almost like a World of Warcraft world. I'm sure there's humans and other creatures and everything.
Oh, there absolutely could be. Yeah,
it's a personal story. It's a personal story set within a grandiose world. And so it is easy to follow because these are very humanized characters with real, relatable feelings.
Yeah.
With a skin of grand fantasy.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you heard my explanation, you're like, that sounds really complicated. When you read it, it makes perfect sense and it's very simple. But I mean that, but simple in a good way. There's not a lot of exposition. There's not a whole bunch of giant lore that they dump on
it's
you.
Just a bunch of like weird nonsense fantasy words.
There's
none
nothing
of that.
like that. There, in the olden times of there's nothing like that. It's just these guys and their tribe and their ritual of assigning a new chief to the tribe. That's it. I mean, that's all it is for now, anyway. So simple in a good way, beautiful artwork, a nice new fantasy book. It's only going to be 8 issues, but I feel like this could be like Bug Wars, how they're going to have another volume.
Yeah.
I feel like this could be one where we're only just getting started in this world, and maybe one day there'll be a second volume where they explore more of the world. I have no idea. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but if you're looking for a beautiful new like fantasy feeling book, this is the one to get. Robert Kirkman, David Finch. I mean, those are two, the powerhouses in comics. So very highly recommended if you're looking for something brand spanking new to read. This isn't related to anything else. Not Invincible, not Walking Dead.
Battle Beast doesn't show up.
Not Battle Beast. No, there's nothing. This is all on its own, and it's very, very good.
And I think you mentioned at the beginning, but this is 8 issues, and they've been working on it so long. This is finished.
It's done.
So you don't have to worry about waiting for the next issue, or there was a big delay or whatever. There shouldn't be any kind of delays because it's done.
They're done already. Yeah, I think you said that there might be a couple of minor alterations here and there, but the book's drawn, it's written, it's colored, it's all that stuff. So yeah. So very, very highly recommended. I really like this a lot. So there's our A cover right there from David Finch, and that's what the interior of the book looks like. In fact, this probably is not as detailed as the interior. Like the interior is gorgeous, and there's some cool variants too. Here's another one from David Finch, and that's Enoch. So that's kind of like your main noble protagonist of the story.
I think every issue of this too has one of those like headshot from David Finch.
There is a blank sketch variant right there. Was that it for the? Were these all? Okay, these are all incentives.
Yep.
And then there's something else tooled. So this is the 1 in 10 Tony Moore cover that we're selling for $6.99, and that's the Skinbreaker. That's the sword, and that's actually the ritual. So they put it in front of this like stone, and the sunshine shines through that hole, through the sword onto the children. And if the children are strong enough, their gray skin melts off, and they have the orange. And it's not gruesome. I say skin melting off. It's not gruesome though. I don't mean it like that. This is the 1 in 25 Lorenzo
De Felici.
Yeah, De Felici. This we're selling this one for $14.99.
I love this is the greatest hits of people that Robert Kirkman has worked with.
Right. This is the 1 in 50 Eric Canetti. We were selling for $34.99. This is really nice right here.
This is the one I really want, but it's it's a little pricey.
This is the 1 in 100 Ryan Otley foil that we're selling for $99.99, and I think that's maybe my favorite. That one's so gorgeous. And then this is what are these called again? The thank you?
Yeah, they're called a thank you variant. Stores, they send out like one copy per store.
Okay. So it looks like the A cover, but the logo is embossed.
I think so were the characters.
Are they?
They
seem can't feel
not
it.
embossed, but it looks like maybe it's just the title, but yeah.
But I mean, on the logo, you can feel that this is embossed right here. We're selling this one for $34.99. And we talked about the beautiful artwork. Every issue of this series is going to be, you can get just like the regular version right there, or you can get the big treasury edition. So you can see how much bigger that is right there. This is printed on newsprint. And I'll show you so you get like this big, beautiful artwork just like that. It's on newsprint. I'm not sure. I think this is just regular glossy paper. But yeah, so you can. I mean, the artwork is gorgeous. These are these $14.99? I don't know how much these ones are.
I think so. It should say it on the.
Oh yeah, $14.99. But yeah, these are so every issue is going to have a big treasury size edition to really show off the beautiful artwork, and it's well worth it.
I was seeing if those also had the cover gallery on the back. The big one has where you can see some of the other covers too. I like that Skybound's been doing that, and you see who the artists are.
Yeah, there's some of the other covers right there. Yeah, I was just really thrilled with this. They told us about this on a didn't they tell us on a retailer call about this?
For the Energon universe.
Yeah. But it's not part of the Energon universe either, but we were on a retailer call.
It's just like, oh yeah, here's another thing I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm also, I'm writing Transformers, and I'm writing Battle Beast, and I'm writing something, and I'm writing Skinbreaker, and so I was really excited to read this, and did not disappoint. It's very, very cool.
No, and it kind of scratched an itch of, I don't know if there's any fantasy books quite like this out right now, and it's just like, this is cool. This is a refreshing setting for a story.
Absolutely.
Well, next up, Marvel has a big one this week. This is Ultimate Hawkeye #1. Now, this is just a one-shot. This is by Denise Camp, B. Earl, and Taboo, with art by Juan Frigeri and Michelle St. Maria. And you can kind of tell where the art and everything changes. There's kind of a little prologue scene, and then it gets into the main story. Is this oversized in any way?
I don't. What's the price on it? It's $5.99. It may be like 32 pages.
Yeah. Because it does have quite a bit of story in it. But yes, this is a one-shot focusing on our new Hawkeye that was introduced in, I forgot what issue of the Ultimates, but was introduced in Ultimates, and it's this character that has taken up the mantle where
40 pages.
40 pages, okay. Where, originally we saw a shadowy of Clint Barton not accept. He kind of did that Spider-Man walking away from the garbage can, and then this character picked it up and became this ultimate version of Hawkeye. Well, this is a really cool character. We've seen them in that great issue teamed up with Captain America, where they took out that whole place.
Yeah. A couple issues where they've been teamed up with Cap that have been really cool. Yeah.
So this issue does start with a sequence that's just really cool. You see how this Hawkeye can use their tech in really cool ways.
That was really
because
cool.
Mostly they don't have a whole lot of bow skills. It's all in the bow and the arrows.
Yeah.
How they can zip around corners, and
it's a lot more tech based than Clint Barton.
Yeah.
Clint Barton had the natural ability. This is a lot more tech.
Yeah, so we get a really cool sequence in the beginning of that. of him taking on a arms dealer, and that's kind of where our story kicks off. But it is a nice like little introduction to everything this Hawkeye can do. But we do see Hawkeye infiltrate an underground gathering of these kind of ritzy, one of those like most dangerous game type thing. It's a place where they are clearly maybe not the most upstanding people, but are very wealthy. They've got a structure that's maybe has women in cages, and maybe
it's a pretty horrifying image.
It really is, especially that page, the introduction. It's kind of like this, like levels of hell with these masked people and everything.
A lot of these rich people in tuxes drinking wine and laughing while you have girls in cages crying. It's pretty horrific.
It's a little Eyes Wide Shut. It's a little like what was going on in the movie Taken. But Hawkeye thinks that they can get into there and shut the place down, but maybe this was a trap. What most of this issue is really cool is kind of this gauntlet that Hawkeye has to go through that is as much physical as it is mental and like puzzle solving.
Riddles and things like that.
It's like, okay, you're going to this next room. Do you take this item or this item? And that kind of reveals how you are as a person. That kind of structure. But the gauntlet's really interesting. There is some surprises. I don't want to get too much into it, but there is other familiar faces that show up. In particular, one that we have not seen the ultimate version of yet. And what happens with that is really interesting. It does bring up some questions that we've been talking about like how does this all work? But this does kind of have a nice little bow at the end of it. And to be honest, a lot of this feels like this could have been the Ultimates annual. Or
that would have been,
it's interesting that it is an Ultimate Hawkeye one-shot when they have done stories like this in the Ultimates that just have focused on one member in particular and kind of something they go through that helps them grow as a person. And that's kind of what this is. It's still cool that it's, a Ultimate Hawkeye one-shot, but I would say this doesn't shake the Ultimate Universe to the ground like you would, maybe they were touting it would.
Yeah, and didn't they say that it would? Like, I was under the impression as I was reading this, I could have sworn that I read something from somebody that said, this is going to like plant some seeds for what's to come in the Ultimate Universe, and this is going to set up, this is going to introduce some things for Ultimate Endgame, maybe, this or that. And it doesn't really. It's its own story, beginning, middle, and end. If you don't, you should read it because it's good. But if you didn't read it, I don't feel like you would have missed anything when Ultimate Endgame comes around. Like, it doesn't really. It's its own little localized story. It doesn't really branch out into the larger universe.
There is one or two threads that are one of kind of threads that like they could tug on them later, follow them to something else, or they could not, and it wouldn't feel like you're missing something. There's decisions that need to be made, but if they didn't make those decisions, it wouldn't change it much at all. But overall, it was a really cool story. It was great art, a lot of really good action. I like this. I've liked this version of Hawkeye, and now reading this, I'm like, I like them even more. So I'm looking forward to what comes next for these characters. But yeah, this is just a one-shot and a lot of fun, but it is what it is. It feels like we're like downplaying it. It's still a really good issue. It's just I wouldn't go into it, waiting to turn the page and see the maker walk out of
nothing like that.
It's nothing like that.
No.
But really fun and recommended. And I really like this character. So here is our A cover. Like you see the maker like screaming in the background. That's not
There's nothing like that in here. No.
Actually, I kind of like it because it doesn't feel as heavily tied in with. It's like I would like to see a bunch of characters go through missions like this because it is kind of a. I would like to see this, but with Spider-Man.
I would like to see that with Captain America.
Them doing a mission rather than it being full of lore and all that. So we've got this really nice foil Carnero variant.
I think that's the one I pre-ordered too. Marvel Spot Foil is really good.
DC's done it now with some of their Superman books. But just do it with everything. I feel like it is the superior version of a foil cover. We also have, this is really interesting. This is the local comic shop day variant from Edgecur. And local comic shop day is this Saturday.
Oh.
So another thing, on our website, infinityflux.net, you can order some of these special local comic shop day books and special printings of things. All of that is up there right now, along with this cover for Ultimate Hawkeye. So definitely check it out. I'm not sure what other kind of fun stuff we'll have for local comic shop day, but check infinityflux.net to get all of the fun. We've also got another character that does appear in this. This is the Lyrics cover, but she plays a pretty big role in this. We've got our Lee Garbett variant.
I really like Lee Garbett a lot.
Yeah, and lastly I like Lee Garbett on Batman.
Yeah.
That was really good. And we have a 1 in 25 David Mack cover we're selling for $19.99.
All right, I've got another new #1 from Image. This is Viking Moon #1. This is written by Joe Pruitt. The art is by Marcelo Frusen. And this book is really interesting because it has its roots set in actual history. So there's to jump to the back before we start talking about the front, there's an afterword in the back that explains that Vikings are thought to be the first Europeans to set foot in North America, but they didn't spend much time here. And it actually wasn't even, it was North America, like up in Canada, basically. Yeah. And they didn't spend much time here. And this book in particular is about another group of Vikings that comes back to North America after the first group left. And they're essentially trying to settle here again. In the afterword, it explains that the native population that was already living in North America, they were the reason why the first group of Vikings left. But this one, explores the question of what if it was something more? What if it wasn't just that the natives didn't want them here? What if it was like something else? Hint, 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 right? And so this issue mostly sets the stage for the series to come. There's a group of Vikings led by a man named Ulf. They arrive in North America in roughly the same place as the previous group of Vikings. And they're very excited about the possibility of setting up a new home. They actually find the village that the previous group of Vikings had set up, and they're like, hey, sweet, we can make camp here too. But they find a whole bunch of dead bodies there. And they find that those bodies have been torn apart by something that clearly wasn't human. And then to make matters worse, they also have a run-in with the natives of the land, who they call Skraelings, which means screaming people. But that encounter ends when they hear the howl of these giant creatures that look like werewolves. And that's not a spoiler. We do see them at the beginning of the book, and it's on the cover. So I'm not really. I mean, you know what you're getting when you see the cover of the book, right? But this issue was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's mostly a setup for the overall story to come. But I really like that story that they're setting up. It's not overly complicated, just like Skinbreaker. It's a very simple story, and I mean that in a good way. And Vikings versus werewolves. I don't know what else to tell you. You know,
that's the elevator pitch, and it's a great one.
That should be all you need. Vikings versus werewolves. And in fact, I was so into this that when this was done, I started watching Vinland Saga, the anime, because I'd never seen it, and I was like, I'm really into this idea of Vikings coming to North America and having to deal with whatever they run into. So I'm only one episode in, no spoilers, but I hear it's really good. So. But I was so into this story, I started watching that because I wanted more, and I'm definitely going to check out the next issue. So yeah, Vikings versus werewolves. Have fun. You know, there's your A cover right there. And then we have this Moratat variant as well.
Feels like a fun expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
You just throw in the werewolf storyline.
Yep. I play that.
That's a great game. Anyways, next up, I have Battleworld #1. So this is kind of Marvel's other big #1 this week. This is by Christos Gage, and the art is by Marcus Toe. This is going to be a mini-series. And it's really interesting because I don't know if it has any characters in it that are from the 616 universe. Like,
Well, no, Hank. I think they all are. Well, some aren't they all?
I don't I don't know. I mean, they're time displaced, but I'm not sure how much reality displaced they
Yeah.
are.
Well, Hank Pym is because he's an old man. He's older like that.
It's
Yeah.
like at least not from like right now in the
Oh,
you
right,
know,
right,
I
right,
don't know
right,
if there's
right.
anybody who's been pulled from like what's currently going
Well,
on in
I
the
think
world.
Hank Pym is the only one.
Does he look like that in
Yeah,
current?
in that that Avengers that like spy Avengers title,
Oh yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
was older in that one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's how this starts out is with Hank Pym, who is he's got a gray hair, gray beard, and he's been working microscopically because he's got his all the space he needs when he does that for
Yeah.
his lab. But he does say the ants around him are starting to act weird, and apparently he hasn't like been back to normal size in quite a while. And he's like, I'm gonna get a little bit bigger and check out what's going on, only to find he is on Battleworld, the patchwork world that we've seen. They even mentioned like all the other times we've seen it. It was the Beyonder that created it at one point. It
Mm-hmm.
was Doctor Doom or
Yep.
Emperor Doom that created it. But they really do question like, hey, this does feel a little bit different this time. And some of the characters in here do know about Battleworld because they have experienced
Yep.
those events. But soon, once Hank is regular sized, very conveniently, he runs into a whole host of other characters. Mostly all these on the cover.
Yep.
So you've got a classic Luke Cage. It's kind of like, are these like pre-current day or post-current day or whatever? But like this is a Luke Cage from like clearly before Secret Wars. He doesn't know about Battle
Yeah.
World.
And that's where we're confused because all of these characters they feel like they could be from 616 just at different points in time. There's
Yeah.
nothing like there's no characters that are wildly different.
Yeah.
So
like dinosaur Captain America.
yeah, nothing like that. So I don't like we said we don't know if it's only from different points in time or if they're also from different realities. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, because we also have Carol Danvers, but as Miss Marvel, which I love.
Warbird.
Warbird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is kind of the same air. I mean, same costume, but yeah, I really like that. I love her in this costume.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's really cool. We have a very young Spider-Man. Like when they asked, he's acting really. At first, I was like, why is he being so annoying?
Yeah.
And then I forgot who asked him, but someone's like, how long have you been doing this? He's like, oh, a long time, like a couple of months.
Yeah,
And they're like, he's really young.
Very young Spider-Man.
And an older Wasp as well.
Mhm.
And so it's really interesting to see them interact and like, what do you know? Or what who do we have to fill in on some of the story of us so far? But not too long, they start getting attacked by these modified Sentinels, which is really cool. They're not only hunting mutants; they're just hunting super-powered people. And you get some more characters that you might see here on the cover come in to help in the fight.
And maybe a couple other characters who aren't on the cover as well.
Yes, but it's also not heroes that have ended up here, but some villains as well. And there's a lot of questions of how did we get here? Who created it this time?
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, in this first issue, you do find out who's behind all this. I was kind of surprised that wasn't the long game mystery, because Hank Pym and another one of my favorite characters, a certain version of another character, but from the future.
Oh yeah,
helps figure out maybe who is behind all of this.
I love that character too. Yeah,
it's a great character. Yeah. It's no spoiler. It's not Old Man Thor, but he is in this as well, which I love him also. But there are other twists and turns to this, even though we do find out it looks like there's some other weirdness going on with some other familiar villains, but we don't quite know what they're up to at this point. I even started to question the whole nature of Battleworld and all that when I saw some characters pop up. So it does set up a pretty interesting mystery. It is very self-contained.
Yes.
Even the fact that I was used to I read Secret Worlds Battleworld where you had these territories. You had the Old Man Logan zone, and you had the Age of Apocalypse zone and all that.
Renew your vows and all that stuff.
Everyone shows up basically in a park.
Yeah,
in they're
Central
all
Park.
there at the same time. Yeah. It's well, that's super convenient. But it does kind of get everyone in together at once, and you get right on with the action. So I am very interested to see what is behind all of this. But this is also if you're not reading any of the other books, you're good because it basically catches you up to speed right away.
Yeah, this doesn't really seem it's not really spun out of anything, and I don't think it's going to lead to anything.
Yeah.
This is just kind of a
Hey, you like the idea of Battleworld? Let's do that.
Yeah,
again.
it just is what it is. It's not like, oh my gosh, they're setting up a new Secret Wars, or this. I need to have read all this other stuff so I can understand. It's nothing like that whatsoever. Just pick it up and read it free and clear of anything.
There is a moment they do imply that there are some of those like territory-like places, because you do see some snapshots of different ones. We don't get into that too much in this first issue, but I thought this was fun and a pretty brisk, light read.
Good artwork and some good action. Like there's a lot of action.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like there's if this was an event, you would have the whole first issue being a setup and then realizing where they are. No, they basically get to fighting 4 or 5 pages into this.
Yeah.
So, we've got our A cover right here, and you can see some of the cast on there as well.
Yeah, not limited to those characters, but those are some of the characters.
And it is fun to see a lot of these characters from at least different ages of these characters interact and who recognizes who also. We've got some variants. So we have this Rod Rice variant. We've got, love this one. This is the Nick Bradshaw cover. Is this a wraparound? Yes, this is a wraparound cover. But I'll say, I don't know if we see any of these characters that are on this cover in this book.
We will tell you that don't get excited for Ben Reilly Spider-Man. He's not in this.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't know why he's on the cover, but he's not in this.
Yeah, this is
maybe next issue.
This is and all the rest who are maybe just a little off to the side of the camera. And we also have this. This is the 1 in 25 Greg Land variant. We're selling for $24.99.
Oh. That doesn't happen either.
That doesn't happen. Spider-Man stays pretty well intact.
Yeah, he stays in one piece. Okay. I've got a new book from, this is from IDW. Yeah, from IDW. This is the Twilight Zone #1. I love horror anthology books, and there's a bunch of them on the stands, and that's not a bad thing because I like reading them all. But this is the OG, right? It's the Twilight Zone, and this feels very Twilight Zone-y. This is written by Dan Waters. And Morgan Beam is the artist. And so each issue of this series is going to be its own like one and done story because it's an anthology series. And this is called Blanks. This story is called Blanks. And I will say that this story in this book is almost nothing like what the solicitation described. There's only a little bit of things that they got right in the solicitation. I'll say it's all black and white, just like a classic episode of the Twilight Zone. It's about this billionaire named Edward Kane. He flies to this very remote island that has all the amenities of a fancy resort. It looks like he's just going to go on vacation, right? But that resort is also doing a lot of experimenting to prolong human life indefinitely. They're trying to basically unlock the fountain of youth, essentially. And Edward has made millions in contributions to this place over the years, and he wants them to show him the progress that they've made on prolonging life. And they have made a breakthrough, but they say it's still years away from being ready. They say that we've got it. We think we know, and we have this little vial of stuff, but we have to like put it through all kinds of testing. Maybe come back in 10 years and we'll have something for you. And there's a spider or something crawling on the lens, so I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, maybe it's not on there. It would be cool if you could see it somewhere.
Crazy.
Yeah. So they, but Edward, he's like, I'm not waiting 10 years. I have stomach cancer. I don't have much longer to live. And so he demands that they use what they found on him right away. And they do, very reluctantly, they do. And when he wakes up, he's horrified to find that everyone at the resort has become featureless. And basically, and I'm not spoiling because it's on the cover, they basically look like that. They basically look like these mannequins almost.
Do they still talk?
No.
Ooh.
But they do still move, but they have no face, nothing like that. They're just very like bland, normal, kind of thing. So and everybody on the island is like that. And it gets worse for Edward too. I won't tell you how it gets worse, but he'll soon be faced with a very important decision that he'll have to make.
But they don't have any.
They don't have one. But so he's gonna have to like try to, he's gonna have a decision that he's gonna have to make. and why did this happen? They do explain it in the book. So very cool, very creepy, very Twilight Zone-y. Like this feels like an episode of Twilight Zone where you would read it and it's like it's like a mysterious ending and that kind of thing. So very cool. So if you like horror anthologies, if you're a Twilight Zone fan, definitely pick this up because this fills that bill completely. So there is your A cover right there, and we have a couple variants. This is the Martin Simmons variant with another sort of like mannequin looking thing. This is your Francavilla cover.
Love that.
Yep. This is your Speaking of the title of it is Blank.
I know, and I love they highlight that on there.
Blanks. Yep. And then this is the 1 in 25 Elizabeth Beals variant that we're selling for $24.99. I cannot wait to read more of these. I love horror anthology books.
I feel like that one and Creepshow have the pedigree
Yep.
of yeah, but we did this first.
Yeah. This is gonna be a great one to read month to month because every month you get a creepy little story. It's great.
Well, next up for me, I've got our Absolute book of the week, Absolute Wonder Woman, issue number 12. Now, I can't say a whole lot about this because it is the final part of, I forgot what this storyline's called, My Mother something.
I think it's called I'm Trapped in a Maze.
Yeah, it's I'm Trapped in a Maze.
Amazing Grace. I don't know.
But it is the story with Wonder Woman in the maze because she learned that there might be another Amazon in there, and she really wants to meet another Amazonian. So if you've been following it, you know all the stuff she's been through. But this is a pretty big issue. So a lot of this issue is her fight with Clea here on the cover, and we do learn some of Clea's backstory and her origin, which are pretty big reveals for this and set up some very interesting stuff, possibly for the future. But I really like this interaction too, because even though it is, they're fighting each other, all of that, Wonder Woman is still trying to, how can I, do right by this person? How can I, rather than beat them, how can I save them from themselves, basically? So that part's really cool. You've also got all the people who are in the maze trying to get out. Some pretty mysterious stuff going on as well. But there is basically, I guess the second half of this issue, you start to get some pretty big reveals for Absolute Wonder Woman and some stuff that may reverberate through the Absolute universe. I don't want to say what it is, but it's characters, it's locations, it's a lot of stuff like that I think people are going to be talking about. Mm-hmm. So maybe when we get the next issue, we can talk about this one a little bit more. But there is a great, that almost feels like an after the credits scene that happens in this, that I know you've seen one page of it, but you haven't seen the 2 pages before it. Did you look at them yet?
No. I only saw the one page. The one big page got spoiled on Twitter, dadgummit. So
which is funny because yes, that is a big one, but there's a few other pages that have some pretty big stuff that some names, some everything that I'm like, oh boy, like the Absolute Wonder Woman world is about to get a lot bigger. So you're probably not going to miss out on it because you're already pulling it, you're already buying each issue of it. But if you're not, you got to be picking up Absolute Wonder Woman and all the Absolute books because they're all great. Mm-hmm. But this one is great this week. So we've got our A cover here. We've got a beautiful Mirka Andolfo cover. Once again, she does not use the sword in this issue.
There's no room.
There's no room in that maze for the sword. Mm-mm. The next one, she needs to be like in an airplane hangar.
Right. And
she could just swing that as wide as she needs to. We've got this Yasmin Putri variant. I think this might be the one I got.
I think that's the one I pre-ordered too.
It's really nice.
It's great.
And we also have this Manahini variant as well.
That's great too.
Yeah.
All right. Let me do this real quick. And then we're going to talk about X-Men number 22. Now, you may be like, 22? What?
22?
Yeah. And
where's the last 20?
You haven't talked about X-Men in a while. Well, I want to talk about this one because the first half of this issue acts as an epilogue of sorts to the previous 2-issue story arc. Kind of puts a bow on that whole story, kind of wraps it all up. So, if you haven't been reading that, then you might not understand the first half of the book. But it's the second half of this book that I was really looking forward to reading because this The second half of this book is literally the beginning moments of the upcoming Age of Revelation storyline that starts in October. So if you read the Age of Revelation number 0, that stealth release from Marvel that came out a couple months ago, if you haven't read it and you want to, you can still order one from infinityflux.net. We still have some.
And it's great.
It's really, really, really good. And in that issue, which is the issue that explains everything about how the Marvel Universe goes from where it is now to where it will be in the Age of Revelation storyline. Like it explains everything. So we're like like I don't have any questions. I know exactly how it happens. But in that issue, it explains that the whole thing started when Doug Ramsey approached Cyclops in Alaska at the X-Men's base about joining the X-Men. That's what started this whole thing. Well, that happens in this issue. You even see like the moment where they shake hands or maybe almost shake hands. And it does play out a little bit differently than what we saw in the Age of Revelation number 0. And I have a theory as to why that is, but can't really talk about it without spoiling some stuff. But if you're excited for the Age of Revelation event, and we're really excited. It's after reading that Age of Revelation number 0, that completely changed my mind. I was like, I want to read everything now because it was so interesting. And the very beginning moment is right in here where Doug Ramsey comes to Cyclops and says, I want to be in the X-Men. And that's where everything goes downhill, you know? So Age of Revelation starts pretty soon. We're near the end of September. It starts next month. I think actually, I want to say next week is the Age of Revelation Overture number 1. It's like the beginning. It's like the issue number 1, basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we are like a week away from this thing starting, and it starts right here. And that's it. That's the only reason I want to talk about it, because this is... But I will say, there's no like big revelations. Like, it's not like if you don't read this, there's something at the end.
There is something that's maybe referenced. They may come back to it at some point.
Yeah, maybe. But I just think of like, maybe if you don't read this, you can still read Age of Revelation. Yeah. You won't be confused. But if you want to see the very beginning moment, then it is this issue right here. And that's what I just thought was cool. It's like, well, we actually see it happen, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the A cover right here. There's some cool variants. This is the Marvel Rivals variant with Psylocke. This is the Swaby variant with Psylocke. Psylocke's pretty popular. This is the logo reveal, I think is what they call. So X-Men is going to become Amazing X-Men when Age of Revelation starts. And what they did reveal the other day is that when Age of Revelation is over in January, X-Men will return back to this numbering. So it's going to go back to number 23.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men will resume its numbering. So they're not like relaunching. They are launching some new number 1s afterwards, but they're not like starting X-Men over or anything like that. It'll resume from here. So there's the logo variant. We have this Alex Ross Timeless variant with, is that Warpath or Thunderbird? I'm not sure. And then this is the 1 in 50 Virgin Swaby variant that we're selling for $49.99.
Well, I know what everyone has been waiting for, and it is Street Sharks number 1, the brand new miniseries with the Street Sharks returning to comics.
Why wasn't that your first book?
You have to keep people on the line because you know why they're there.
Yeah.
This is by Stephanie Williams, and the art is by Ariel Metal. And this is the raddest Sharks ever are back in this jawsome story. Because that's what they say. Now, here's a cool thing. Of course, if you don't know, Street Sharks was kind of a 90s property. It had a kind of short-lived TV show. I think there's a couple of seasons of it. It's mostly known for the toys that had the like real shark-feeling skin. It was kind of rubberized. You pull their fins back and they would like chomp. They all had really fun features. They came in shark cages. Like the toys were in shark cages that were really fun. I loved. Like Street Sharks has always been one of my favorite cartoon properties.
Yeah, great toys too because they're big and thick and bulky. They're not fragile, and you can just bang them together.
Yeah, you know? I even when I did my own Kickstarter, it was for Blackfin the Barbarian Shark, which was heavily influenced by my love of the Street Sharks toys and all of that. So I already have like this vested interest in Street Sharks.
Could be a Marvel DC type crossover between Blackfin and the Street Sharks.
Yeah, if they ever go to like a Conan like world, there you go. Yep. But this issue is really fun. Now, the art definitely gives vibes of like the animation, so it's not overly detailed. It feels a lot like the Ninja Turtle Saturday Morning Adventures comic. It gives those vibes of like this is like an episode of the show. So in this, we have the Seviants, which are not deviants, but they're Seviants, up here.
Because they're from the sea?
Yeah, so you got Slobster Slash, Killamari. All of them are attempting to.
That's a great name, Killamari.
Yeah.
That's the best name ever.
So they're attempting to steal some tech, some evil. I don't even know if it's evil, but it's some tech they're going to use for evil for their boss, of course, Doctor. It's not Piranha, but it's basically his name, Doctor Piranha. They're stealing some of that. But of course, it's not long before the cement is tore up with fins because somehow the street sharks can swim in pavement and cause tons of property damage. And they emerge to fight them. So a lot of this issue is kind of a fight and a chase between the street sharks and the bad guys here. And it's really fun. You just get a lot of their witty banter. You know, they're all brothers, so you know, they've got some of the Ninja Turtles energy. So you've got Jab, Streak, Slamu, and Ripster are street sharks. Now there are more street sharks in the toys in the original series. Hopefully, we'll see some of them show up. What's his name? He's the killer whale with the big tongue, and some of the other ones. But we'll see if we get to them. But a lot of this is just kind of an introduction and just some fun action and all of that. But by the end, there is a kind of tease of what the bigger storyline in this is going to be that I am excited for, because it looks like, you know, there may be some more mutants on the horizon that I'm looking forward to seeing. But just a really fun issue. If you're a fan of Street Sharks or you like things like Ninja Turtles, don't miss out on issue number 1 of this. I don't remember how many issues it is. It's like 5 issues, maybe. So we've got our A cover here. And this, I believe, is by your interior artist. So it looks a lot like that. We've got some great variants of. This is the one I think I got. This is the Jorge Corona variant.
Yeah, that's a great
He's making him look awesome. I love Streaks, and he's got his rollerblades.
Oh, man, rollerblades is awesome.
Yeah. And then we also have this really nice 1 in 10 Beals variant. Just looking for $9.99. You got Ripster just showing off his sharky pecs in the ocean.
All right, I want to talk about Daredevil number 25, which is a little bit weird because this is the last issue of this series. So why am I talking about it now? Because it's really good. Kingpin is back. We saw that in the previous issue, and we saw Kingpin in the Punisher Red Band number 1 as well. So Kingpin is back, and he is you know, making himself known in a couple of different books, which I think is really cool. I love that connective tissue. And most of this issue is a big fight between Daredevil and Elektra taking on Kingpin. And like it's all out action. Like it's such a great Daredevil story. You could almost read this as like a one and done, just regular Daredevil story. What's cool is that Kingpin has a new goal that goes way beyond simply being mayor of New York City. He explains that where he's been ever since Matt like exorcised the demon out of him, and he went away for a while, and he explains where he went, what he did, and why, and what he wants to do now that he's back. And yeah, it's like I said, it's way bigger than just being a mayor. Very action packed. The artwork is gorgeous. The artwork is by Jose Luis Suarez, and I really hope they keep him on for the next Daredevil series, whenever that may be. They have not yet announced another Daredevil series. There is going to be the Daredevil Punisher. I don't remember Daredevil Punisher, the Devil's Trigger miniseries that starts in November. Not really sure if it's going to touch on anything from here, but the artwork in this is gorgeous. Like he could be like a Marvel Stormbreaker. I hope they hang on to him. But that's it. I mean, like, you know, that's all I just wanted to say is like this is just a really good, like I wish, like if this is what Daredevil's going to be, I wish they'd keep it going. I wasn't like the biggest fan of the earlier story arc, you know, the first dozen issues or so, but now it's gotten a lot more street level and Daredevil and Kingpin and beautiful artwork, big action. Like now that you figured that formula out, just keep going. Don't cancel it. But yeah, so a great issue of Daredevil. If you've been collecting it, don't miss the last issue. If you want to read a Daredevil story, pick this one up. You know, it talks about stuff that happened, but mostly just a big fight, and the artwork is beautiful. So just wanted to shout it out. And this is the only cover that we have.
Well, next up, I've got a really cool one. This is Superman issue number 30, and this is a big one in the lead-in to the DCKO event. So in this, Superman has gone into the future. He's fighting Darkseid's legion of superheroes. He's trying to save Booster Gold. We do get kind of the origin of at least the evil Saturn girl, but we also get, you kind of understand how this Dark Legion came about because of that. You've got Superboy Prime, who appeared, was the big kind of reveal in the issue before last, but then maybe he turned into a bad guy. Just really fun, over the top action in this issue. You do learn why they wanted Booster Gold. He was kind of a piece in this big machine that the Legion is trying to work on that is going to help them prevent anyone from being able to stand up to Darkseid when he does finally like manifest, which we know is going to be in the DCKO event. And yeah, this is kind of wraps up this main story, or at least this, Superman's part leading into the DCKO event and him going up against the Dark Legion. There is some really interesting seeds planted for some other things at the end of this. You'll have to read it to find out, but even when you read it, you're like, I wonder if they're going to do something with this.
Yeah.
It does feel like a backdoor pilot for maybe something else.
Yeah.
But fantastic Dan Mora art in this. Just really, really building the tension right before we hit the big event coming up. We've got the one shot coming out next week.
It's called the Justice League, the Omega Act special.
Yeah.
And that acts as like a prologue to DCKO number 1, which comes out the following week.
Yes.
Which we read, and it's really, really good.
So this leads right up to that, as well as another book I'll be talking about that actually maybe even share a final page.
Yeah,
so
that's really cool, yeah.
It's really cool, and this is just, getting you pumped for this big event coming up.
Yeah, and I'm very excited. Like, there's a lot going on in this book. If you're excited for DCKO, this is, like you said, this is walking right up to the door of that.
Yeah.
Setting all the pieces in place. And
yeah, and some cool stuff in here that, even though we've both read DCKO number 1, this not like, oh, then I know everything. They're still surprised by a lot of things in this issue.
Yeah, we definitely don't know everything.
Some of the backstories on everything. So, Superman issue number 30, fantastic issue, continues to be one of the best books coming out right now. Here is your A cover. We have this David Aja cover.
He's been doing a bunch of those, and they look really good.
Yeah, it's kind of like cool silhouettes.
Yeah.
We have our Tom Riley Pumpkin Spicy cover. That reminds me of that cover we had, that variant when Lois was writing her book or whatever, and it was like Handsome Clark.
Yeah,
and it looked like a romance novel. We have this Ariel Olivetti cover. It's a little weird Brainiacs on the cover. I don't think Brainiac really plays a big part in any of this,
not in this.
but it's a nice cover. This is the one I got. This is the Dan Mora corner box art variant. There's some great ones of these this week.
Yeah, I think I pre-ordered that one too.
And maybe this
along
one.
with,
the spot foil, the Dan Mora spot foil. These spot foils just look so good. Sometimes the foil parts come across kind of dark, so to have these characters popping out looks great. And then we also have the 1 in 25 Sowie variant that we're selling for at $9.99.
It has been close to 3 years of this Superman series being phenomenally awesome.
If you were to ask me how long it's been going on, I'd be like, I don't know, like last fall?
But it's been so good since the beginning, and it keeps being amazing.
I don't think there's been a dud issue in the whole thing.
No, definitely not. All right, so I have got one of my favorites. This is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring, number 3. I can't say too much about this because we are starting to get into spoiler territory as the series progresses, but I can tell you that Monica, which is the sister duck, the duck that's trying to figure out what happened to her brother, she has come to Woodbrook, is it right? Woodbrook, I think.
Yeah.
And she's been asking around town about Sam, who is our main protagonist, but also a serial killer.
Technically protagonist,
I guess. But she's been asking around about Sam, and then she actually meets Sam, and they have a conversation directly. We learn what's really cool about this is we learn more about Sam's past, and it's worse than you might have imagined. So maybe she got a start on her killing earlier than we may have thought, and she has some surprising victims. So, but yeah, just another great issue of this. Just wanted to keep shouting it out as well because it's so good, so fun, and I know there's a lot of fans of it out there. And the next issue comes out on Wednesday. So there's your A cover there. We have this. Sorry, this is the Tony Fleeks variant. Yeah, I love this. Is so cute. This is the Elizabeth Beals variant. Looks very Berenstain Bears. And then this is the black and white Tony Fleeks that we're selling for $24.99. That's I don't have the ratio on that one. And then I don't have the ratio on this one either, but this is the version of the A cover. We're selling that one for $10. Oh, this is the one in 10. I wrote it down.
Yep.
Look nice. $9.99 is what we're selling that one for.
Well, next up, I have an Ultimate book for you. This Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 21. So, one, this cover's a little deceiving. Some of these characters do not appear in this issue. This is actually, most of this issue is the backstory of Mr. Negative, which is interesting. This version of Mr. Negative growing up with his sister and kind of how he got to being this kind of crime lord that he is. But we learn also about his kind of disdain for Kingpin. And maybe he wants to, get some dirt on Kingpin, wants to find where's the weak places in Kingpin. And who better knows about that than James Wesley, who is Kingpin's aide. But the other thing about this is James Wesley is also one of the Mysterios, along with Gwen Stacy and a couple of other characters. So when Mr. Negative tries to get some information out about Kingpin, he might stumble upon a little bit more information than he thought he was going to get. So this issue is another Spider-Man light issue. I will say Spider-Man appears in one panel, and he's about maybe this big.
In the background,
In the background. He's not even the focal point of that. So if you're looking for a web-swinging rock'em sock'em fight between Spider-Man and a villain, this is not that issue.
Yeah.
Most of this is still character build up and really focusing on the storyline that's going on with Gwen Stacy and all of the other people that make up Mysterio as a character.
I really like this book. I really like the story they're telling. I think it's wildly interesting. Can you put Spider-Man in the Spider-Man book, please? I don't even know. Honestly, I do not know when the last time we saw Spider-Man was.
Yeah, as a Spider-Man actively doing a Spider-Man thing.
It's been at least probably 2 or 3 issues. And
yeah, we got a good amount of him in the Sandman story swinging around. But this is, we were talking about this before. This is less of a Spider-Man book and more of a Harry Osborn book, more of a sometimes Peter Parker.
It's more of a Harry and Gwen book. It's the ultimate Osborns is what it should be,
which is not bad. Like we said, this has been a wildly interesting series, but it's not quite a Spider-Man book.
Yeah, right.
But still one of the best-selling books and one of the books I go to first to read.
Yeah.
It's super interesting. I do wonder what form this book will take after Ultimate Endgame.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe, depending on how that, comes out in the end, maybe we'll see a more traditional Spider-Man from that. We'll have to see. But yeah, still wildly entertaining, but just light on the spider.
Something else about this issue, too, is they revealed several issues ago who the 5th Mysterio is. And I have spent this whole time until this issue
not putting those pieces together.
And I thought that the 5th Mysterio was somebody that it's not. And then in this issue, I'm like, oh, that's who that was?
Yeah.
So,
and I wonder, were we supposed to know that, or did they just assume everyone would be kind of as?
Well, we hadn't met that character before, I don't think.
They've been in the room.
Yeah. Okay. I did not. I know who it is now, but I was like, hey, I was talking to you. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's this person. You're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm pretty sure. Nope, I was wrong. I was wrong.
So, yep. Let's just say Bullseye is not in this issue.
Bullseye's not in this issue.
Those other characters are, but not Bullseye. And about that much Spider-Man. Actually, that picture of Spider-Man's mask is bigger than Spider-Man is.
That's right, yeah.
But this is your A cover. And we must have sold out of some of the variants because all we have is this 1 in 25 Lozano variant we're selling for $29.99. Also, no Mary Jane in this issue.
Yep. Okay, I've got Thor #2, not the Mortal Thor #2. This is just Thor #2. And, you know, this picking up right where the first issue left off with Thor patching himself up after the fight that he had with the Roxxon goons last issue. He did some work on all of them except one who ran away, who got away. But he got the guy's wallet and he knows where the guy hangs out. So Thor, well, he's not Thor. It's Sigurd Jarlson is the name because he has amnesia. He doesn't know who he is. He's living as a mortal in an apartment right now. So Sigurd, who actually is Thor but doesn't know that he is, he goes to like the bar where the guy who got away hangs out, and we get several pages of Sigurd, Mortal Thor, mowing down these like big bikers in this bar, and like it is great. Like it's very action packed. He does he does use this, but in a very, very creative way, which was really, really fun. Like, and it lasts several pages. It's great. And then there's also a very interesting ending that may call back to Donny Cates' run of Thor, but I didn't read that, so I'm not 100% sure if it does or not.
You can run it past me later.
Yeah, I'll ask you later. But it was really cool. Like lots of action. Like you would think, how much action can you get in a story about when you depower Thor? No way. It's like it's still really cool. I'll have to show you some because he's doing some cool stuff with a hammer. It's really neat. So I just want to let you know the second issue of this new Thor series is out. And I guess maybe we sold the variants because this is the only cover we have.
Well, next up, I have Black Cat issue #2. I really like this. This feels like almost like a Spider-Man book, but with Black Cat filling the role of Spider-Man because Black Cat is now trying to be a good guy. Black Cat is trying to take down criminals and all of that. But it's also funny because she knows a lot of them. Like, you know, they know her as being a criminal, so they kind of wonder why she's there trying to stop them. And in this one, she goes up against a kind of a criminal family or something like that is now starting to, or kind of a mob that are dealing in supernatural artifacts. It kind of feels like they're moving them, kind of like you would move black market weapons and other things, but they're dealing in some supernatural and weird stuff like that. And maybe they're in over their heads when they are moving a certain thing, and it accidentally gets unleashed, and they must deal with all of that. Meanwhile, we've got Sandman, who is keeping tabs on what's going on with Black Cat. Which
I really like that part of the story.
Yeah, that's really cool. And there is a guest star that shows up at the end, which I would like to see those characters teamed up more often because they just work really well together.
You know, in the 90s and the 80s, we used to get like guest appearances all the time. Yeah. And they would even announce it on the cover, guest starring, you know, so-and-so. And we don't get that a lot anymore. Yeah. But this one kind of felt like, that character wasn't in it all that long. But it felt like, you know, guest starring so-and-so. Yeah. I was like, I want more of that.
Yeah, it's a character that I wouldn't mind seeing playing a supporting role in this series. Right. Because it would be very fitting.
I actually thought I wouldn't mind a mini-series of those two characters on a full adventure together, you know?
So this was great. I thought it was really fun. Gleb Milkonov's art on this is really great. Good. It feels very classic, like Spider-Man. Like
I like the way he draws Sandman.
Yeah, he's Sandman's a very really big, like bulky Sandman.
Yeah, and that other guest character, like that's really cool too.
Great artwork. Yeah, I'm loving this. I think this is a blast. It feels like, you know, it's not like dour or anything. It's like bright. You know, she's dealing with like fighting criminals in just the broad daylight.
Yeah, like you said, it may be more of a Spider-Man book than Spider-Man is right now.
Yeah. So just really, really fun. So here is your A cover by Adam Hughes, who's at least doing like the first 5 or 6 covers at least. We also have some great variants. So we've got a Paco Medina cover.
That's nice.
That's really nice. We've got our Alex Ross timeless variant with Zabu. We've got a Greg Land variant. And we have a virgin copy of the Greg Land. This is the 1 in 50. We're selling for $39.99. I love Black Cat as a character, and I don't know if I've ever read, like, at least in recent years, a bad run of Black Cat.
Yeah.
Jed McKay's was great.
Oh, his
this
was great,
is great. So
yeah,
she's great.
All right, well, we're going to stay on the Spider-Man train and talk about probably my favorite Spider-Man book on stands right now, which is Spider-Man and Wolverine. This is number 5. Okay, so this is the end of the first story arc, but it is not the end of the series like I thought it was. Like, we know it goes to at least issue 8, if not further than, I think it goes further than that. I don't know how long this is going to be. Is this supposed to be an ongoing?
I don't know.
I honestly thought this was the end, but it's not. It is not the end at all. Where am I at here? So we get a lot of answers in this. We finally learn who Dread Shadow is. We know who this guy. We learn who this guy is. We learn why he's been after Spider-Man and Wolverine this whole time. We learn if it's true or not that Wolverine killed Peter Parker's parents. We get all of that. Peter Parker's parents picked a pipe of pickled peppers.
Yeah.
We get all that backstory. We get all that cleared up. Kari Andrews is back on interior art. It looks gorgeous. There's a big fight, lots of explosions. Like I can't tell you much of the story because there's so many revelations. I would be spoiling everything if I told you. But just want to let you know the next issue's out. Lots of answers to the questions we've had, and this series will continue on past this, which I think is great because it's such a fun book. So yeah, just want to let you know that the next issue is out. There is our A cover here, and we have a Corey Smith 1 in 25 cover that we're selling for $19.99.
Well, next up, one of my special interests is Masters of the Universe. It's one of the things, along with Star Wars, that I could talk about for a long time. And one of my favorite creative teams that work on Masters of the Universe is Tim Seeley and Freddie Williams II. This is Masters of the Universe, not He-Man in the Masters of the Universe, Masters of the Universe, The Sword of Flaws, #1. And this is really fun. Freddie Williams draws the He-Man universe like the big bombastic action figures.
Yeah.
Like they are so over the top. He also did the He-Man meets Thundercats book, which I love. So this is right in line with that. He draws all you're like not even spotlighted, but just in the background. So many of the toys, so many of the vehicles. I love seeing Stratos and the horse.
Stridor?
Stridor.
Yeah.
I can't say Stratos. No, he's bird guy.
I love how Freddie Williams II draws this because we've talked about how Ed McGuinness draws everybody a little bit more big and muscular, and I really love that. And then Freddie Williams II is like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna draw them everybody's. Yeah, I love it.
So most of this issue kind of feels like an episode of a TV show. I wouldn't say the original because it is not that simple.
Right.
But it does feel kind of like a one and done story where Prince Adam is meeting with a prince named Prince Stahl. And he's kind of a headstrong, like, I know better than you, overconfident prince from a place called Eisenhold. And, he's saying, like, your kingdom's weak because you have He-Man protecting it all the time. You're never going to grow. You're always going to be behind because, you just rely on him to take care of things for you. But, of course, during this is when Skeletor decides to do one of his classic attacks, this time on Castle Grayskull. And he has a pretty serious machine he's riding in that's doing a lot of damage. What's so great about these books is you've got the whole cast here. Your whole tub of action figures are out for play. So, along with Skeletor in this big machine, you've also got Evil Lyn, you've got Trapjaw, you've got Spikor, you've got Whiplash, you've got Cobra Khan, you've got Triclops, who plays a pretty big role in this, and more. I think Jitsu is in this. Just tons of fun looking everywhere and seeing all of the classic characters. But all the heroes come to the aid as well. So you've got Teela and Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, He-Man, and even the Prince Stahl, who, when all this is going down, decides to... He's got a little hammer. He's got a little silver hammer that's his main weapon. And they go to fight. But Skeletor is trying to break into Castle Grayskull, not from digging up straight in the ground, but kind of busting in the side of it, just for his own dumb reasons that Skeletor always has. But this is just kind of the one and done part of the story. They're gonna stop him. No surprise there that Skeletor gets defeated and everything. But the amount of damage he was doing with this very like ancient machine that he had uh, did kind of big, AoE damage.
Yeah.
So much so that characters like Stratos has to fly around to survey what kind of damage it has done. Which there is some great cameos from characters I had to teach you about. You knew one of them, but just like deep cut characters that
Which is crazy because I'm older than you. I grew up in the '80s playing with this, and but you know these guys better than I do.
I've dedicated many years to learning like every character from Masters of the Universe, and like where they originally came from. But Stratos does discover something because the ground has broken open. Actually, I think it's a mountaintop, and something is there that looks like that's going to be the crux of the mini series. That who knows what it will mean? Who knows? It is kind of rooted back in the action figures and all of that, but to what level they're going to be using that, I'm really interested to see. But
if you took like the last page away from this, or maybe the last 2 pages, this could just be a one shot.
Yeah.
Just like one quick story and it's done. It's those last couple pages where things start to kind of open up and you're like, oh, there's a larger story here.
Yeah, there's a little sample page of the next issue, or like the cover, and it's using a pretty big, like literally big character. I think maybe they're gonna be diving into Preternia stuff, which is always really fun. So yeah, I would say the first part of this almost feels like an updated version of one of the classic like He-Man storybooks you would get, the little square books that are just really fun. He-Man stops Skeletor again, but where it ends up is opens the door for something bigger. So I love this. So much of this is just looking at it because there's so many characters, so much action. Battle Cat is ginormous, and He-Man, it takes up half the page, and it's really, really fun. So, recommended. Masters of the Universe, The Sword of Flaws, #1. Plus, Skeletor looks great in this.
He's kind of really does. Yeah.
He's a mix of like classic Skeletor, but also kind of the 2000X Skeletor, where he's like a little bit more just like melty face.
Yeah, he definitely looks more evil.
Yeah. So that is so much fun. And this is the only cover I have for it.
All right, I want to talk about Immortal Legend Batman #2. And something we probably should have mentioned at the top of the show is that our DC and our Image books did not come in until today. So we didn't get a chance to read as many as we wanted to. This is one of the ones that I kind of had to read through pretty quickly. So I didn't get to go as in-depth, absorb the story as much as I wanted to. Because I read this like right before we started recording. But this issue can pretty much almost be read as a one and done story. There's not a whole lot of connective tissue to the previous issue. Bruce goes undercover on this ship because this is like a sci-fi thing. So it's like he goes undercover on this spaceship that keeps getting hijacked by these what are essentially space pirates. He's trying to like get in with them so he can kind of cut this out. He's taken back to the base of these pirates where they pit like all the people that were on that ship. They sort of pit them all against each other in like a big, throw them down in a pit and make them all fight each other. But it leads to a face-off between the Immortal Legend Batman and I guess what you would call the Immortal Legend version of another classic Batman villain, which was really cool to see. We also learn a bit more about Bruce's past and his road to becoming the Immortal Legend Batman. So we get some really cool backstory, which we didn't have in the first issue. The first issue was like, well, how is all this even a thing? I have no idea. We start to get some answers to those questions in here. But yeah, another really cool issue. If you like the first issue, you'll like this one. And there's a chapter 2 in the back. It's like 4 or 5 pages drawn by Dan Mora that actually feature Immortal Legend, Robin, and Nightwing, and they're like, we got to figure out what's going on with Batman, and it looks gorgeous too. So yeah, don't miss out on the second issue if you like the first one. There's our A cover right there. We have this really nice Michael Cho variant. And there you go. This is the Dan. No, this is the Serge Acuna. I thought this was Dan Moore. This is Serge Acuna, but there's your Robin and Nightwing. They look so good right there. And then while we're talking about Batman, just real quick, like I said, our DC books came in today, so we didn't get to read as many as we wanted to. I really wanted to read Detective Comics number 1101, so I just wanted to mention it here because this is the start of a brand new story arc. So if you want to jump on some new Batman stories, you can do so right here. Batman's wearing his new costume that he has over in Matt Fraction's Batman number 1. So you can jump onto that issue. You can come here and jump onto this issue and get a whole bunch of really cool new Batman stories. So I didn't get to read this one, but just wanted to let you know that a new story arc starts this week in Detective Comics.
Next up, real quick, want to mention that Star Wars Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent number 4 came out. This series has been really fun because every issue kind of features Aphra teaming up with another character. And this one, as you see on the cover, is Aphra and Chewbacca because they're kind of Aphra's having to, basically, so she doesn't go to jail, she's having to work for the New Republic. And in this one, they have a mission to guard some heirlooms and then do security for a coronation of a young prince on this planet. And Aphra is like, this is the most boring job I've ever done. We're just standing around guarding artifacts. And then after the coronation's over, we're out of here. Nothing's going to happen on this little planet. No one cares about it. Well, that is all true until a certain Chrysanthemum attacks and causes a lot of trouble. I love Chrysanthemum. Every time he appears is awesome.
My favorite flower too. Oh, that's chrysanthemums.
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, chrysanthemums.
But who hired him? Why would they care about this coronation of this kid on this planet that really doesn't have any bigger ramifications than just on that planet? You'll have to read it to find out. But this was another really great issue of Dr. Aphra. So we've got our A cover right here, and we also have this, I'm not sure, I think this is maybe a 1 in 25 that we're selling for $19.99.
Well, I've got Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe number 3. This is my favorite issue of the series so far because this features what essentially are the 90s X-Men fighting Godzilla in Madripoor. And you have like the 90s looking X-Men, Cyclops with the blue and the yellow collar and the brown suit Wolverine.
You wanted that one shot to be the X-Men versus Godzilla.
This is what I wanted. Yeah, this is exactly that. So it's a big fight between the 90s era, 90s looking X-Men and Godzilla in Madripoor. Meanwhile, Black Panther formulates a plan to fight Godzilla in Wakanda. And I think that's going to be very cool as well. And the X-Men have to try to figure out how to get Godzilla to Wakanda in the first place, while they're also trying to fight it. That's all I have to say. I mean, it's just a big fight between the X-Men. I don't even think. I mean, Black Panther's in it, but I think this isn't like a bunch of heroes. This is the X-Men versus Godzilla, and it's really cool. And that's all I wanted to say. And this is the only cover we have.
Next up, I want to show New History of the DC Universe number 3. This is the one I've been looking forward to because this is some classic kind of 80s, 90s.
There's your 90s
DC,
stuff right there, yeah.
Stories. So the art in this one is done by Dan Jurgens and Doug Mahnke, which is awesome. I love both of them. And we get classic recaps and stuff like Wally becoming the first sidekick to take on the mantle of the hero. So it has Wally becoming Flash after Flash died. Barry died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. All right, Crisis. Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
In the previous one, it led up to Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right.
Yeah. I almost want to say Infinite Crisis, but that's a different Crisis.
No, yeah.
That's where Barry died.
Infinite Crisis would have been in here. Is it? No,
yeah?
No. Infinite Crisis won't be till the next one.
Right.
Should
Start the next one, I think.
Well, no, because Blackest Night came after Infinite Crisis.
Okay, so it might happen in here, but just a little bit of it. We also get stuff like Death of Jason Todd and the Death of Superman. We get Batman getting his bat broken by Bane and the introduction of the milestone characters like Static and Hardware and stuff. We have 0 Hour, Clark and Lois's wedding, Hush, Identity Crisis, and John Kent's birth, which may
weird.
Yeah.
The timing on that's a little bit weird.
Yeah, so this thing about this is, this is the new history of the DC Universe. This is like, hey, let's take all the pieces of the DC Universe and restructure them in a way that this current DC continuity is using.
Yeah.
So it may rub some people the wrong way about you're saying this happened before this or whatever, but this is the new history. This is, hey, we've had a lot of crises and everything, and I'm guessing this is the timeline post the All In and or the end of the like the Watchmen stuff where they brought all the characters back and realigned everything. I'm guessing this is like, hey, now this is the current one. So there's some weirdness. You know, it doesn't say that John Kent was born during the Convergence event, but you know, it's they're all fake anyways. You know, it's
don't let it bother you if things don't line up. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's
fun to talk about.
Yeah.
But in the end, it doesn't really matter. But it is a fun issue, and I love just reliving some of these characters in these moments with fantastic art.
There's some like retconning going on in Matt Fraction's Batman #2, which isn't out yet, but there's something in there that is way different than what it used to be. So there's all kinds of time shifting going on in
and that's
DC
comics
right now.
Same thing with like in Marvel Captain America.
Yeah.
When in the current storyline where they say where he was unfrozen is like not in the 60s or whatever. It's a little bit more present day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fiction. It doesn't matter.
All that to say, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But this was a great issue. The one I was most looking forward to is this one, but the next one's gonna be really cool too. Because I think it's like New 52.
That's everything through current. Yeah.
Current. So I really want to see how they kind of work all that out. So there is your A cover for that. And of course, this is the one I got. This is the Dan Mora cover with Flash.
I pre-ordered that one.
Wally West Flash. Yeah. He's got the white eyes and the lightning bolt belt that meets in the center. We've got a Scott Koblish variant with more of every character ever.
Have they not already drawn all the characters ever?
Nope. This even has, I forgot what her name is, but she's like one of the old logos that has this little girl's face on it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
It's really weird. But yeah, it's fun to like, man, they did some deep dives on here. We've got the Frank Quietly cover, which it does go over this, like Damian becoming the, at least like when he first met up with Bruce in this. This also goes through like Final Crisis. And then we have this Ryan Sook foil variant, which I love that image of the Superboy shirt on there. And we have a, I think this is maybe a 1 in 25 by Carl Kerschel. We're selling for it $9.99. Kind of, I think this is kind of representing like Sinestro Corps War.
Yeah.
Which takes place during this.
Would it go that? Does it go that far?
Yeah, because that happens before Black.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep. Golly, you have to like sort of get your brain around. You have to sort of unravel all the different things that's happened in the DC universe over the last 100 years or whatever.
It makes sense why they needed to do this because there's a lot of info.
Yeah. All right. Well, my last one is Death of Silver Surfer #4, and in this one, the Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer, Agent Ko, Korg, and Scar fight against the horde of like these space monsters, basically known as the Blood of Galactus, and it almost looks like an annihilation wave. It's kind of what it looks like, and they're all headed towards Earth, and all those heroes are trying to fight them all off. Not too much else to say about it other than, and this isn't. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is not a spoiler. I'll tell you this, that we've already seen the cover of issue #5, and we've seen Agent Ko. Looking like a Silver Surfer with her own surfboard. Well, that transformation happens in here. So technically, this is the first appearance of her as, they don't call it a Silver Surfer, but she sure looks like a Silver Surfer. Our first look of her as that is in here, but it's not much. I guess you could chalk it up to a cameo or whatever. But I just wanted to let you know that if you're trying to, get first appearances and that kind of thing, it happens in this. And then the next issue is where we're going to really get it. But it may not be what I thought. So, jury's still out on that one. Have to read the next issue to find out the full extent of her transformation. But, just want to let you know the next to last issue of this series is out. I love these covers.
Yeah.
So this is our A cover. And then this is the 1 in 25 Phil Noto that we're selling for $24.99. That's it for me. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go home. So have fun finishing the rest.
Well, clearly I did more work than you.
Yeah.
So, next up, I've got Justice League Unlimited number 11. This is the book that lines right up with the last page of this and the last page of Superman are by their respective artists, but the same scene, which is really cool.
So this and Superman like literally run parallel to each other, and they wind up in the same spot.
So this has the Justice League dealing with all the crazy stuff that was going on the Watchtower, kind of the attack on multiple fronts, like the parademons overrunning. You have the Dark Legion attacking. You've got the Time Trapper that Metamorpho is trying to heal, and he's like made this little bubble around him, and time is ticking if they can stop him from everything getting destroyed. So I'm not going to say how this ends or anything other than it does share the final page with Superman. But there's also a preview. It's weird it wasn't Superman, but there is a couple of pages preview of DCKO and the Justice League Omega Act, especially comes out next week.
Yeah.
You can see like the first like 2 or 3 pages of that in here. So if
I'm excited about that because we haven't seen that yet at all. It's weird. We've already read DCKO number 1, but we haven't seen anything from the thing that comes before it.
Yeah. And it's cool because it does reference a lot of the miniseries we've been reading, like The Question, like Challenges the Unknown. I feel like that's where a lot of those pieces are going to be like, this is what we're taking from that. So, we'll be talking about that next week. But another great issue of Justice League, and get ready because it's soon going to be all DCKO all the time. And it even says Prelude to DCKO at the top. So we've got our A cover here. We have this Nathan Zerdy variant with Power Girl and Renee Montoya, The Question. We've got also this, I think this is Omer. Yeah, this is the Omer Justice League cover. And since you're done and I'm still going, next up I've got... Oh, I'll put it up here. All new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 2, which I wish they would just call her Ghost Spider. If you're good with that, just everyone agree it's Ghost Spider. This follows right up from the previous issue where there's been an attack on someone that's very close to Gwen as she was starting her band. One of her band members got attacked by this creature that we don't know a whole lot about yet. Well, the monster seems like it's targeting people around Gwen as it does attack Cindy Moon, Silk. Of course, she can handle herself a little bit better because she's got superpowers, but it's still kind of rough. And
I like that sequence with Silk. That was really cool. Yeah,
I would like to see more of stuff like that. That's
more
really
Silk, cool. Please.
But this kind of makes Gwen be like, I'm just gonna go take care of stuff, and everyone's like, you don't do it. Like, we've got to figure out more what's going on. But she's kind of hot-headed, headed out there to face off against this creature. There's a lot more in here with her and her dad and all of that. This is a pretty dark book.
Yeah.
You know, for being a character, like if you know her from like the Spider-Verse, it's like colorful and everything. This is kind of a darker period in her life. The book is darker. She's a little bit more angry as an individual, but I thought this was another fun issue. So there's your A cover. We also have this Baldion cover. And we have this. I did not get the name on this one. I think this is a 1 in 25. We are selling for $19.99, but it's very cool. And then, because I gotta zip around to all my different notes, we have Superman Unlimited number 5. This is a really fun issue where the Cobra cult has apparently been secretly undercover getting into the Emerald City, the city that's made completely out of kryptonite. And Superman has been given some information by Batman that maybe there's a special kind of kryptonite that the people who are drilling on this Emerald City, on this island, are about to uncover. And it could be, if it falls into the wrong hands, could be very bad. And there's some pretty cool revelations about what this thing is and its relationship to Superman at the end. But that means Superman has to go to that island that is completely made out of kryptonite. How is he going to do it? He gets a really cool spacesuit thing.
Yep.
And I love whenever Superman gets a cool like anti-kryptonite
Yeah.
suit. But yeah, another really fun issue of Superman Unlimited. That's your A cover. This is the one I got.
Yeah,
This
me too.
is the Dan Mora corner box art variant where Superman is going Super Saiyan. He's just screaming his guts out. Love that. And we also have this Declan Shalvey variant. Superman all close and personal with the moon, or with the sun. We've got this Mark Spears variant with Crypto. We've got this Dan Mora variant, which is interesting because we have not seen those characters yet.
Yeah, who are they?
They look like they got kryptonite weapons, and I'm really interested to see who they are. Also, we have Emma Frost, White Queen. This is issue number 4. I really like this issue. So this is Emma Frost, who is now kind of on the run because she's been framed for like giving away secrets about the Hellfire Club. She's been going everywhere, kind of seeking help and refuge, and she heads to the Hellfire Club that is in Las Vegas, which is in a casino.
Ooh.
Really fun, but can she trust anyone? No, and that means she something happens to her and she wakes up in the middle of the desert in the Sentinel graveyard, where some of them are still kind of active. This has some cool guest appearance at the end that is going to, I guess, carry on through the next couple issues, but I've really enjoyed this series so far. Really fun. So here is your A cover by David Nakayama. And we also have this 1 in 25 variant. The Woo variant we're selling for $19.99.
Great cover.
Very now I get it because it's Vegas and she's
Yeah.
a very like Elvis and the neon lights, but that's really cool. Next up I've got Venom, Black, White, and Blood issue number 2. I didn't get to read all these as in depth as I wanted to, but I kind of skimmed through them. Like the first story, the art and writing is done by Eric Larson. So if
Nice.
you kind of miss the that era after McFarlane, where Eric Larson was the artist, it's a little bit closer to his Savage Dragon style that he has now, but it's still cool to see all of that. There's a Carlo Pacheco and Pere Perez story in here as well. And there is a Tom Waltz and Brian Level story with Agent Venom.
Is that Carlos Pacheco's story? Didn't he pass away?
This is Carla Pacheco.
Oh.
Not Carlos Pacheco.
Oh, I misheard you. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is that an older story that yeah.
But yeah, so this was really cool. Just the one cover I have for that one. And lastly, I just wanted to mention this, and I did not get a chance to read it, but I have been really looking forward to The Phantom #1 from Mad Cave. This is by Ray Fox and Russell Olson with Taylor Esposito. And I love the Free Comic Book Day issue for The Phantom, and I've really been looking forward to reading this one. I did not get a chance to read it because, like you said, it came in late, but definitely check out The Phantom this week as well. And that cover is by Freddie Williams II, your artist on Masters of the Universe. So that's kind of what that looks like. And that is it. This was a big week for our early comics review video. So hopefully you learned a couple of things. Maybe some stuff you didn't know about certain books. Maybe this brought to light some books that wasn't on your radar. It's not distracting at all, seeing your eyes creep over the top of that. So head on over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can order these books while supplies last. A lot of these will not last long, especially like these like specialty books, the variants, the incentives, all of that don't last long. So if you want them, go over there and get them right now. That way they don't sell out from underneath you when Wednesday rolls around. But again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our awesome content. Stay tuned for a video coming up on Wednesday. We'll be going over books that you can pre-order by the weekend and all the more fun stuff. Also, yeah, local comic shop day is this weekend on Saturday. So if you're looking for those special covers, reprints, maybe some deals, I'm not quite sure on everything, head over to infinityflux.net. It should be on the homepage now. But if it's not, just keep checking back. But I do know the books are up there where you can get them. And that is it.
Yep.
So until next time, see ya.